hope Milania Giudice bitch slapped Teresa Giudice and Luis Ruelas because they deserve it. I hope she did. And I hope she gets away with it. But her main goal was this season wanted to show Louis in a different light. And man, God works in mysterious ways, huh? Different light. You had her daughter arrested. I mean, wow. Sometimes things come back to bite you in the ass.
All right. I have one thing to say. I'm gonna save the rest for tomorrow. But that mugshot of me, you guys really believe that's AI? I ate down in my mugshot. I was fire. I mean, nothing to be proud of, but I'm really sure of that.
Welcome back to Celebrity News Addict. Today, we're diving straight into the absolute chaos surrounding Teresa Giudice's 20-year-old daughter, Milania, after her shocking arrest for domestic assault. Teresa has survived prison, a public divorce, and endless reality TV feuds. But this is something unlike anything she's ever faced before. And as the police reports start leaking, the rumours are getting darker by the second. So today, we're getting into it all, including claims that a brutal family brawl escalated so badly that Milania's own sister called the police on her out of fear, reports that Milania has been shipped off to camp/rehab to scrub her image before her court date, and speculation that her stepdad Louis is turning the family against each other and pulling the strings from behind the scenes. With a massive Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 15 casting shakeup currently filming, Bravo is capturing the entire fallout from this shocking arrest on camera. And we have the explosive day-by-day timeline of the family feud that escalated beyond anything we could have ever imagined. From the first 911 call to the secret internet clues and the re-emergence of Kim D, we've got a lot to cover. So let's get straight into it. As always, we'll be covering this breaking news in a timeline to ensure we don't miss a single detail. So, our case today officially begins on May 5th, when Milania returned home to New Jersey from the University of Tampa for summer break. But less than 10 days later, the Giudice family home would be turned into a crime scene, with Milania hauled off in handcuffs for domestic assault. According to the court documents, on May 14th at 6:12 p.m, Milania was arrested by Montville Township Police in the state of New Jersey. Milania faced one count of simple assault and purposely or knowingly causing bodily injury, which is a disorderly person's offence under New Jersey law. In a statement obtained by Us Weekly, the Montville Township Chief of Police, Andrew Caggiano, said, quote, "On May 14, 2026, the Montville Township Police Department received a report of a dispute at a residence in town. The investigation resulted in Milania Giudice being charged on a summons complaint with one count of simple assault, in violation of a disorderly person's offence." He continued, "She was released pending her next court appearance. A criminal complaint is merely an accusation. Despite this accusation, the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until she has been proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law." However, the initial reports failed to mention who the alleged victim was, or provide specific details about what led to the charge. In fact, when TMZ contacted the Montville Township Municipal Court for a statement, a spokesperson referred to the matter as a domestic violence and confidential incident, causing fans across the globe to speculate that this must mean the victim was a minor. Perhaps Milania's younger sister, Audriana, aged just 16 years old. Whoever the victim was, it seems Milania is remaining close to Teresa despite the incident, as a couple of days later, on May 18th, after a short break from social media, Milania posted these photos of herself with her mum, wishing Teresa a happy birthday. Milania wrote, "Happy birthday to my favourite person in the world. You are the most beautiful. I love you so much, mummy." And Teresa commented back, "Love you so much." So it seems her mum is supportive of Milania despite her arrest. But according to news sites, this isn't the first time the 20-year-old has made headlines. Back on May 21st, 2024, Milania totaled her brand new Mercedes in a dramatic New Jersey car crash, though police ultimately ruled that she wasn't at fault. But when you add in the fact that she recently shocked the family by showing off a vulgar new inner lip tattoo on TikTok, which reads, "fuck off," fans are starting to look back at these moments, wondering if Milania has a history of reckless behaviour we all should have seen coming. Anyway, the day after Teresa's birthday, on May 19th, Milania was scheduled to appear in court. However, no plea was entered at the time. Then, on May 26th, while in the midst of her secret court battle, Milania went back to posting on socials full-time, as if nothing had ever happened. And to the wider world, at this point, it hadn't, because the police reports were still tightly under wraps. Things stayed completely quiet for nearly a month, until June 11th, when news of her arrest finally made headlines. And that's when this story really started to explode. The Sun were the first to break the exclusive story, revealing to the entire world that Teresa's daughter had been hauled off in handcuffs for domestic assault. But Milania didn't miss a beat before firing back with her own retort to the public scandal. In fact, just hours after the report was broadcast to the world, Milania posted to her Instagram stories, sharing a quote that said, "None of us sit high enough to look down on anybody. Be humble." She also quickly followed this up with a post that read, "I hope my mum never carries the weight of thinking she wasn't enough. I could fill pages with the quiet, beautiful ways she shaped my life." And Milania has continued to be active on her socials since the arrest, posting seemingly old videos to her feed over the last couple of weeks and commenting back to fans who are supporting her. One fan wrote, "Girl, you gotta let us know what happened. You are only source." And Milania responded, "If I want to." While another wrote, "What's the tea, girl?" And she replied, "Nothing." In the comments of another video, a fan wrote, "Girl, you're iconic. Ignore everyone." And Milania answered, "Don't worry, I will." So while Milania is trying to maintain a carefree front on social media, many eagle-eyed fans are noticing that she's only posting old clips, sparking a massive theory that she isn't even the one managing her own feed right now. We're going to put a pin in that theory because we'll be circling back to who might actually be running her account in just a few minutes. But first, we need to talk about what triggered this entire meltdown. So, on June 11th, the same day the Sun revealed the story to the world, an explosive inside report from Reality Blurb finally dropped, pulling back the curtain on what really went down behind closed doors, with an insider revealing there was an explosive fight in the house where things escalated. They explained there was so much going on that her sister ended up pulling the trigger to call the cops on her. It was out of fear for people's safety and for the fact that Milania was going at multiple people. And after this inside report, things started to escalate fast. On June 12th, rumours started flying that Milania had been kicked out of her home following the incident. However, another inside source quickly put these rumours to rest and shed more light about what's really going on behind the scenes. They said, quote, "There have been issues with Milania at home, but it's not what it's being made out to be." The source continued, "Milania came home from Miami prior to her finals because she was having some stress from school. She did not want to return due to all the stress she felt she was under. Teresa gave her a dose of tough love and told her she had to go back to school and it wasn't an option." This is where the rumour came from that she was kicked out, but it's simply not true. So, if Milania wasn't kicked out of her home for her violent arrest, then what was Teresa's reaction? Well, she hasn't yet made a public comment, but she too took to her Instagram stories to hint at what was going on behind the scenes. In a post shared to her story on June 12th, Teresa reposted one of Luis' stories that said, "Sempre insieme," which means always together. He tagged the location as Home Sweet Home. Perhaps this was just another public shout out for their love bubble. But this post had many fans speculating that Luis had been in the centre of whatever the conflict was that triggered Milania and led to her arrest. The next day, on June 13th, it was reported that even the Real Housewives of New Jersey cast think that Luis was the intended victim. In a post to his Substack, Rob Shooter from Naughty But Nice posted, quote, As questions continue to swirl around Milania Giudice's domestic violence case, some of Teresa Giudice's fellow Real Housewives castmates are privately speculating that the alleged victim may have been Teresa's husband, Luis Ruelas. The identity of the alleged victim remains confidential under New Jersey law, but sources tell Naughty But Nice that Ruelas was the first person many Bravo insiders thought of. The post continued, "The first question everyone asked was it Luis? A source tells me he's very controversial, so that's where the speculation immediately went." The insider also explained, "Nobody knows who was allegedly injured, but a lot of people assumed he could be involved." While yet another source added that everyone thinks it's Luis, claiming, "The secrecy is creating more questions than answers." And Teresa added yet more fuel to this fire on June 15th when she reshared and tagged Luis in a photo on her Instagram story. The post came from the account The Unshared Feelings and showed a lion and lioness standing together with the caption, "We met because God knew we needed each other." The original account that posted this had included a long caption all about standing by each other through imperfect moments, surviving chaos, and finding someone who stays during your storms. By reposting this right now, Teresa is basically shouting from the rooftops that her marriage is under fire, but she and Luis are a united front. Then, on June 16th, more details once again dropped, which seemed to confirm all the speculation that Luis may have been the victim of Milania's violent outburst. One inside source revealed that, quote, "Milania was going at one of her sisters. Luis got involved to try to stop her and calm her down, and he had to restrain her." They continued, "While it's unknown if she did hit him, anyone being restrained likely would try to get free, and it's completely plausible he could have gotten hit in the process. Due to the situation going on, another sister got very nervous and picked up the phone and called the cops." The source added, "At this time, it remains unknown if she did this on her own free will or if Luis instructed her to call the police." Fast forward a couple of days, and on June 18th, even more details emerged as reports revealed that Milania was planning on fighting her charges with help from a very well-known New Jersey defense attorney. According to the US Sun, Milania has hired Alan Kraminski, founder of Kraminski Law, to defend her in the domestic violence case. And Alan has a strong reputation, having successfully defended multiple criminal and domestic defense cases, as well as personal injury and automobile accident cases as a New Jersey municipal court attorney. But from one extreme to another, the next big piece of gossip to hit headlines on June 18th came from none other than Miss Pot Stirrer, Kim D herself. In a video posted to her Instagram, Kim D offered her opinion on Milania's recent trouble with the law and revealed what she believes triggered the blow-up. Take a look.
I happen to love Milania Giudice. I know that there's been an argument in the home about that they wanted her to go back to that school. She really didn't want to. There was a continuous argument in the house about all these things. Anyone out there who thinks that I am in any way, shape, or form judging Milania, I would just like to say here and now, I hope Milania Giudice bitch slapped Teresa Giudice and Luis Ruelas because they deserve it. I hope she did. And I hope she gets away with it.
In retaliation to Kim D's post, Luis decided to go ahead and like the reel, which Kim took as him firing warning shots. So, in response, she returned to her Instagram to make it clear that she isn't afraid of him.
So, I think I'm getting to someone. I think the truth really hurts. I'm not taking back what I said. I'm happy that I said it. But I see that the person that's involved liked my comments, liked the reel I just put up. So I guess that's a message that you're watching me? Is that a message you're sending me, big bad wolf? Well, I'm not afraid of you. You couldn't contain a 20-year-old. You had to call the cops. So bring it on, big boy.
And since hiring her attorney, things seem to be moving quickly with Milania's case, as sources have revealed that she'll be heading to court in just a couple of weeks in mid-July. In the meantime, according to Kim D, who appeared on a YouTube Live with ex-Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, Dana Wilkie, on June 23rd, Milania is in some form of camp or rehab to help clear her image and have the charges dismissed, likely recommended as a resolution by her new lawyer. Check this out.
So we heard some tea that she was in a very, very very nice kind of camp environment that focuses on mental health and also addresses addiction issues concurrently if needed. And we don't know what she needed, right?
I don't think addiction. I'm gonna highly say no. But also, let me tell you what I found out from Doug. There are programs for like a 20-year-old girl who this is her first offense. So the lawyer probably said, take this program. So when you come out, they will dismiss the charges and you will not have a record. The next case that's coming up is in July, sometime, mid-month. So she will have done the program and they'll go in front of the judge and all of our opinions, it will be dismissed and it will not go on her record.
In this same live, Kim and Dana also circled back to the rumors that Milania might not be managing her own social media accounts while she's away, with Dana suggesting she believes it may in fact be Luis who is running them in her absence, and maybe running Teresa's too. Take a look.
And if you've watched Milania on her feed, she does not do these short, nondescript responses. Hers would be way more colorful. So, the question is, who's this? Well, I think it's probably Luis, right? And you said to me, why do you think he would get access to it? How would she justify it after this whole saga happened? And I said to you, because I think he's positioned himself as her manager.
I can't see after what happened, her letting him saying, yeah, you can do it. I just see him doing it. I don't see her saying, oh, yeah, go ahead. You had me arrested and you turned my mother against me. But here's my codes. Go take care of it.
And if Dana's right, this throws the Father's Day post Milania shared on June 21st into a much darker light. In her post, Milania shared a photo with Luis, captioning it, "Happy Father's Day, at Luis Ruelas. You're the best stepdad anyone can ask for. Thank you for all you do for us. You deserve the world." Now, initially, the public took this at face value, assuming Milania was defending Luis and showing the world he wasn't her intended target. But if Luis is actually the one running her page from home while she's away at camp, this looks like a calculated PR move where Luis is trying to reframe the narrative to paint himself as the perfect stepdad, when I think we all know that couldn't be further from the truth. What do you guys think? Is this a genuine post from Milania? Hey guys, I wanted to pause this here to bring you a brand new breaking update. As I was uploading this video on June 29th, Milania broke her silence and posted to her TikTok to address the arrest and fake mugshot floating around the internet. Clearly, whoever had control of her feed before, it's now safely back in Milania's hands. Watch this.
All right. I have one thing to say. I'm going to save the rest for tomorrow. But that mugshot of me, if you guys really believe, that's AI. I ate down in my mugshot. I looked fire. I mean, nothing to be proud of, but I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, it is what it is. Shit happens in life. And it is what it is. You gotta learn from it, just become a better person and talk about it. And I just was not in a good area in my life. And you know what, that happens. I've been through a lot in life and some other stuff happened to me. Just because you guys think you know everything that happens in my life, you just really don't. But that mugshot, I can't believe you guys didn't believe that's real. But that's all I have to say for tonight. Hello, it's me.
Anyway, returning back to the gossip from Kim D's podcast, she also went on to reveal yet more details about what really happened during the altercation.
Her main goal was she wanted to show Louis in a different light. And man, God works in mysterious ways, huh? Different light. You had her daughter arrested. I mean, wow. Sometimes things come back to bite you in the ass.
You keep saying that because he called the cops, and
He told Adriana to call the cops.
Right, and we have tea that he utilizes the cops whenever needed.
All the time.
So it's an MO, in other words, it's a pattern.
An MO.
And your theory, from what I gather from today's show, is that he wanted Milania not to come back to the house to go be independent, and she didn't.
Well, she was staying at her grandmother's. And so she would go back and forth to the house. So she was staying with her grandmother when this happened. But she was going back and forth.
And the best part is that all of this is happening during filming for season 15. So the fallout of Milania's arrest is all being caught on camera. Here's everything we know about what's being covered in the latest seasons so far. So, on June 12th, it was revealed that Milania's outburst, the lead-up and subsequent arrest, weren't caught on camera. According to an insider speaking to Rob Shooter's Naughty But Nice, quote, "The victim was allegedly inside the home away from production. None of it happened in front of the cameras. However, apparently there were several witnesses willing to talk about it. The source shared, production didn't get the incident, but they're certainly talking about it now. The timing couldn't be more dramatic." While another source suggested that Bravo will be relishing in the drama and attention that this is bringing back to the franchise, claiming it's a serious situation for the family, but from a television standpoint, people are paying attention again. Teresa remains the center of gravity for this show. They continued, "Love her or hate her, whenever something happens involving Teresa, everyone starts talking about New Jersey again. She always ends up becoming the story." But a few days later, on June 18th, it was revealed that this might not actually be the case, and Teresa may be taking up less of the spotlight this season. According to the report, the cast has undergone a major shakeup since season 14, and insiders reveal that the change is paying off. This new mix is seeing the return of Melissa, Teresa, and Dolores, with the dueling sisters-in-law finally at peace with each other, at least for now. Plus, there's a handful of newbies who are allegedly making things less toxic than ever. In an interview with Us Weekly, an inside source close to production explained, "There was so much drama the last few years that producers want the OG cast to settle in with the new cast. It has been far less toxic than previous seasons." They continued, "Melissa, Dolores, and Teresa are really enjoying the new dynamic, and the larger group is bonding over real-life family situations. The season so far is full of fun, sisterhood, emotion, comedy, and drama." The source revealed that with Teresa and Melissa at peace, the vibe on the set is hugely improved compared to last season. They stated, "Melissa, Dolores, and Teresa are being very nice and welcoming to the new ladies." Production also teased that the new faces are killing it and are most of the story right now, suggesting the sun might be setting on Teresa's reign. But while insiders claim Bravo is quietly relishing the drama, other reports suggest the rest of season 15 is facing a major crisis. On June 23rd, an inside source shared with Reality Blurb that season 15 may be a disappointment for fans of RHONJ. They stated, "Filming is not going well. Nothing has really gone on. There hasn't been any drama, and it's been relatively boring." They added that the women were given contracts which guaranteed 10 episodes, though there could be more than 10 if filming goes well. However, they explained, "The way things are going, it doesn't look like it will get more than that," claiming that the women are leaking filming locations and events, but it's all coming off as boring. So, with Teresa's reign and potentially the entire franchise bracing for a fall, Teresa, as always, has another ace up her sleeve. While her 20-year-old daughter faces rehab and potential jail time, Teresa is, of course, releasing a memoir. In an Instagram post on June 20th, Teresa shared a reel launching her brand new book.
Hi guys, the moment's finally here. What I've been working on the past year, so excited. My third memoir, The Queen of New Jersey. Today, pre-orders are available. Whoever orders today, go to ballastbooks.com. You'll get a hardcover by yours truly, autographed. So excited to share the last 10 years of my life, my journey. I put my heart and soul into it. Can't wait for you guys to read it. Love, love, love you guys, and thanks for all your love and support. Mwah.
What do you guys think? Is the timing of this book release a bit suspicious? Not only is Teresa capitalizing on the new season of RHONJ and Ultimate Girls Trip 20-year anniversary, but to me, it feels like she's capitalizing on the bad press from Milania's arrest so she can reap the rewards. But in the eyes of Teresa, all publicity is good publicity, right? So that's it for today's video. With Milania's July court date just around the corner, I'll be sure to keep you updated as more news is revealed. But as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Was Louis behind this whole thing? Is he manipulating the entire family behind the scenes? Did Milania just finally have enough and explode? Or was the outburst unprovoked and a warning sign about Milania's reckless behavior? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, please don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more reality TV news and updates on this case as it happens. Thanks for watching.